am back with a second impression of the Common Planner by Sterling Ink. I received it a couple days ago and jumped right into my first impression and just put it all out there as I opened it and my first thoughts. But now that I've had a couple of days with it to run through it, I wanted to give my thoughts on my second thoughts and how I feel about it compared to the Hobonichi, which I currently use, the Hobonichi Cousin. First of all, if you didn't see the first video, this planner is awesome. Catherine at Sterling Ink did a great job. It's a B6. The Hobonichi is an A5. This is a B6, so the size difference is pretty significant, which is great. She scaled the structure of a Hobonichi down into a B6, which I think a lot of people are going to love. But I just wanted to go through some of the differences that I've noted that work or wouldn't work for me, or that I like or dislike. And these are obviously just my opinions, and I think this planner is going to work so well for some people, but also if you're moving from a Hobonichi into this, you should know some of the differences. So just a quick overview. A B6, you have gold edges on the pages all the way around. That was one of the things that I didn't think I would love. Then I got it in my hands and I do think it's beautiful. But then after a couple of days of playing with it, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't prefer the gold. So that's one thing where I'm like, it's a little too flashy, a little too, I don't know, too much for me. And also the gold speckles, like from the foil, have gotten on the cover like throughout it. And then throughout the day yesterday after I was playing with it, I had gold speckles on my face. So I was like, I don't really like that. So anyway, diving in, I guess maybe I have to be careful with where I open this. I don't share a ton of my pages, but let's see. No, I'm gonna do that. My monthlies I can share. I can do that. Let me get to a blank one. Here we go. So when you first open her, the Common Planner, you have 2023 at a glance. And it's nice because she has the weeks laid out here. The weeks are all numbered. That is not the same in the Hobonichi. I really can't share quite a bit of that. Yeah, there's no week numbers on the Hobonichi year at a glance. So that's nice. You have a couple of blank pages up front, and then this one dives right into goal breakdowns. This is not something in the Hobonichi Cousin, so this is unique to the Common Planner, which is nice. It goes from someday, year, half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. So you can really break things down. And then she has quarterly goals and priorities broken out. She has this vertical layout that the Hobonichi Cousin also has. I'm not going to show you that in mine, but that's really helpful for, I mean, you can use that in so many different ways. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so back to these monthlies. You have this pretty significant size difference, right? The A5 to the B6. So you do not have as much space in here, which is obvious. The Hobonichi is a Japanese planner, so they do highlight their different holidays, and they do highlight the weekends. Some people cannot stand the color. I personally, it does not bother me whatsoever, but the Commonplace, or the Common Planner, I do keep calling it Commonplace, and I'm not sure why, but the Common Planner is all a grayscale. There's no color in it at all, which is nice because then you can customize it however you want. The Hobonichi Cousin, I think that these, I think the grid is the same size, like the actual grid is the same size. I can't remember if it's 4, I think it's 4, no, maybe it's 3.5. Shoot, I really don't know. But this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The Hobonichi 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 by 9 in the Hobonichi, and the common planner is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's scaled down by 1 square. You wouldn't think that would make a huge difference, but it does. I don't know if you can really get a feel for the difference here. Let me see if I can. Okay, I've lined one of them up perfectly on top of each other. So you can see it's off just by the one column here. And you just don't think that would make a difference, but it does. It makes a really big difference. As I went through it last night, and this is already kind of just the perfect size. Each individual day is the perfect size for me. So when I was looking at this, I'm like, oh man, that's pretty tiny. So probably not an issue for those that are already in an A6 or a B6, but for those scaling down from an A5 or something larger, that's a pretty significant difference. So then, let's see, the weeklies. Let me get to a blank weekly. So here in the Hobonichi, you have the weekly. Again, the weekend is highlighted. You have a sidebar here with the calendar, the monthly calendar, and the week that we're in is highlighted. So here you have the same vertical layout. Try and keep everything here. The same vertical layout. You have the month at a glance, and the week is also highlighted or circled. I have the Japanese version of the Hobonichi, so everything, a lot of it's in Japanese. I think it's like half Japanese, half English. Everything in the common planner is English, which is nice. She notes the week 46 here. That's also noted here in the Hobonichi, so that's the same. The lines, or the print in the common planner is much lighter. It's a much lighter gray, and the Hobonichi, well, it's a little darker, but also the Hobonichi is colorful. So if you come back here to these daily pages, they're all different colors corresponding with the month. And there's none of that in the common planner. Oh, it's hard to juggle these two. It's just gray, which is awesome. Again, you can customize that however you want. The color in the Hobonichi does not bother me. So if we're getting down to the scale of the width of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, it's only off by 1 square, but it's pretty significant. It's only, the Hobonichi is wider by 1 square. So you wouldn't think it would make that big of a difference, but my gosh, it's a big difference. I write pretty small, and I still hate how narrow each vertical day is. I don't hate it, but I have to sometimes scale down my writing just to fit in the Hobonichi. So to scale it down even more to fit in the B6 and, downsize 1 additional square, that would be difficult for me. But again, if you're already in a B6 or you're moving up from an A6, I don't know that you'd have any issues with it. The size in your hand is so good. It feels so portable. You just throw this thing in your bag and go, where the A5 is much bulkier. It's a much, there's just a lot more to this. But I'm so used to the A5 that I love it. I don't hate it, and I thought I would love the B6 more, but as I played with them more in my hands, the A5 just feels better to me. So, and then the last part is the dailies. The Hobonichi is dated and color coded corresponding with each individual month. The common planner is completely undated. No color, no dates. It has page numbers, but that's it. And it's a very light scale gray, which is awesome. The Hobonichi is it pops out more. It's a little darker print. So I realized in the daily pages what I thought I would like, just this blank page, but I realized I actually like a little bit of structure to get me started. I don't care about these dates. I disregard them. They don't matter to me. That would drive some people crazy. But the Hobonichi gets you started with some priority boxes here. I use these for priorities or gratitude or whatever I need to start my day with and like pop out. That's already there for me. So I don't have to think about what I need to do. It also has vertical time here so that I can structure my day if I need to. If I don't need that, I completely disregard it, but it's already there and set up for me to kind of trigger my mind into like what I want to place here. There's a very soft line here that divides your schedule from the rest of the page, which you can do with whatever you want, but it just kind of, that small amount of structure on the page allows you to, it just triggers your mind to like, what do I want to do with this page? Here is a blank page. And just to say, I'm not a super creative person. So that tiny bit of structure, it really makes a big difference for me where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have thought about that if that hadn't been there already. So a blank page to me is not the same as it would be to someone who's super creative and like, just give me my page and let me go. It's completely structure free, so you can do with it whatever you want. And I think a lot of people will really like that and prefer that. And I thought I would, but as I kept coming back to the Hobonichi, I was like, no, I actually need that little tiny bit of structure to help me get started. So there's that. And then the paper, I think the Hobonichi is just like each individual page is a little tiny, like it's just slightly whiter. If you weren't looking for the detail, you wouldn't notice it, but I feel like this is a little more, it's a brighter white than this one. But I could be lying about that, and it's just how my eyes are perceiving it. Anyway, those are the biggest things. Those are the differences to me that stand out. I think that it's just going to come down to, you have to get your hands on things and go through them yourself and really figure out what works best for you. I think this is a great planner, and I think a lot of people are going to love it. But the Hobonichi just like tugs at my heart, and it's also, I'm not huge on change. There's a lot of people that they're all over the place all year long because they enjoy that change, and they switch up their system all the time. I'm a very much a one planner, fit it all in, don't change up my stuff, because I finally got my system worked out. And so maybe it's just, I'm very comfortable in this now, and so that's why I feel like it's drawing me back in. But we'll see. I'm going to take some more time to kind of roll through it a little bit more. I don't want to mark it up. That's the worst part, because I'm like, if I want to give it away or sell it, or you know what I mean, I don't want any of my stuff to be in there. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just play with it for December, but I don't want to mark it up if I'm not really going to use it. So I'm going to have to sit on it just a little bit longer. Anyway, I hope that's helpful for some of you that are kind of tossed between the two as well. I did just see today that Catherine is going to release some additional batches of this, so you can get your hands on it. It will be for sale. If you go to Sterling Ink on Instagram, you can find out all of that information. So anyway, I hope this was helpful.